So today it's the one-man band. This is a question that somebody asked. Can you record some more one-man band stuff, but with a slightly better picture quality? And yes, of course. I used to have old mobile phones. I've got slightly better mobile phones now. So I've got a keyboard here, which is split into piano, like electric piano, and then my bass guitar. Now, I've sampled my Fender bass for this. This is my bass guitar sound. I sampled each note 5 times, different volumes, so I can get just different dynamics. And then I've got a little synth up there. On my knees here, you can see on various cameras, this may be apparent, but I've got a sustained knee lever on my right knee, which only sustains the piano, but not the bass, because that's what I want it to do. And then drums, I've got a series of pedals. So I've got bass drum and snare drum. And then on my left foot, I've got quieter hi-hats to reflect how a drummer would play hi-hat on an 8-beat. I've got hi-hats only as well there. I've got an open hi-hat. I've got various other drum sounds. Tom there. And then a ride cymbal, which if you really smack it one sounds quite sort of crash ridey. And then I've got a crash on the end with a kick drum. Now, all of this is live. Everything that you hear is live, with the possible exception of a looper pedal. But I make the loop up at the time. There's no preset loops in here. So I've got a little looper on the floor here, which currently is empty. So what I do is, if I play a drum beat, I can trigger the loop with my left foot. There it is. And then I can stop that loop with the pedal on my right hand side, which also aligns up with the bass drum and crash cymbal, with the idea that it kind of masks the loop. And then I've got another button which cancels that loop, so that loop is now gone. I wanted a loop station where you could literally just forget the loop immediately and it wouldn't just keep looping. So I'm going to play a bit of soul for you, and the reason I'm going to make a loop is I can play a guitar solo over the top of this as well. So here we go.
Oh, I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue with some other guy that you knew before. Between the two of us guys, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, and I found out yesterday. Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. I'm about to lose my mind. Honey, honey, yeah, heard it through the grapevine. Not much longer would you be mine, baby.
Now I'm going to create a loop. So I need to loop the second verse under here, but my mic, it isn't being looped.
Heard it through the grapevine. Not much longer would you be mine, baby. I know a man ain't supposed to cry, but these tears I can't hold inside. Losing you in my life, you see, 'cause you mean that much to me. You could have told me yourself that I love somebody else. Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. I'm about to lose my mind. Honey, honey, yeah, heard it through the grapevine. Not much longer would you be mine, baby.
Here comes the loop. So that means I can do this. the loop at any time I like, because I looped it halfway through the little... There we go, there's the beginning of the loop. So...
People say believe half of what you see, the sun and none of what you hear. And I can't help but be confused. If it's true, please tell me, dear. Do you plan to let me go for the other guy you loved before? Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine, and how much longer would you be? Ooh, I heard it through the grapevine. I don't ever better lose my mind, honey, honey, yeah, yeah.
Now I've got the Hammond organ, which I've got an expression pedal on my left knee, which allows me to create volume changes, and I've also got the drawbars here. And I can either have my Fender bass, or I can have the Hammond bass.
Don't know, I heard it through the grapevine. I'm about to lose my mind, honey, honey, yeah.
So, what I've got here then is a load of bits that I've made up and put together in a sort of higgledy-piggledy fashion in order to make this work. I did a tour of Japan on this. Because I made some of it, I was sort of coming into Tokyo airport thinking, please, please don't have destroyed anything. And luckily, everything was fine. Now, the keyboard obviously is a manufactured keyboard. This is the Roland VK7. And it's a great keyboard because it allows intricate control over MIDI. Now, what I had with the right hand here is I've got some different sounds. I've got like a Wurlitzer and then the Rhodes, which you heard most of it on. The sustain lever on my right knee. Now, what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to grab one of the cameras and show you around it. So I've got my Hammond there. I've got like a mono synth, which is also here. Nope. Yeah, part-time. Then I've got a piano, like an electric piano, sort of CP80. And then I've got a clavinet, where the wah-wah that's on at the moment is also the same expression pedal that I had for the Hammond. And I can just have straight through clavinet with other pedals as well, other controls. Now, I've got all of this stuff. I've also got a little mixer here which allows me to just tweak the levels of things as I go. If the Rhodes is a bit loud, I've got a volume control on the end there. So I'm just going to grab one of the cameras now, and I'm going to show you the other bits of this one-man band and how I've put it together. Okay, so here is the expression pedal, which is an old wah-wah pedal. It's revealing that light behind it, but you can see that inside there's a little spring. Don't know if you can see that on the camera. Yeah. Anyway, it's a little spring which basically means that the pedal is always open. Note these other pieces here. These bits of plastic here that are attached to the pedals are actually 2/4 of a Woolworths Christmas tree stand, because I don't want my trousers to get caught in the pedal. So I've got a continuously sort of bit of plastic here with a bit of metal down the side here to just reinforce it, to stop it so it doesn't break. Here I've got a MIDI merge box. Now, because I've got MIDI output from this and from the pedals, I need to be able to send it all to the computer. So, and I'll show you the other bits in a minute, the sort of the guts of it, if you like. So along the back here, I've just plugged my expression pedal in there and my sustain pedal in there. I've got a USB hub that's also round the side here, and in there you can see all the USB cables. Everything is sent out via this connector here. Now this is called an EDAC. Now what that is an old multi-channel connector that used to be used for multi-track tape machines back in the 70s and 80s. And I managed to get hold of one because setting up this thing used to be a nightmare. It would take me half an hour, 40 minutes just to get things plugged in, and now it's kind of 10-15 minutes. So this box down here, I'll just move that, that's the DI box that's feeding the desk for the recording. I've got an old Motu sound card here, which is connected to my computer. Now the computer here, my old MacBook, is running all of the sounds simultaneously. And I've got the, you can see the B4 there open at the moment, which is the Hammond sound. I'm not using the sound that's in this keyboard because actually it's good, but I want all the sounds to come from the computer, so it's all just one pair of outputs. And you can see that I've got the USB cable that I've had to make up here. Now everything is transmitted down this fat cable that was connected to the one-man band sort of frame. So it also supplies, as you can see down there, you can see my pedal board, it supplies it with power, MIDI, and then a few other things as well, including the pedals here. Now this pedal here is connected to this looper. Now this Digitech looper, I drilled a couple of extra holes, extra jack plugs in the side, so that these buttons, that button there, the record and play and the stop, are also connected to these nice soft sustain pedals here. So I've still got the loop stored, I think. So if I press this one, that's the loop that I had. So basically I hit that. I always trigger on the last 8th note of the bar because actually it makes more sense because there's very little happening. There's virtually nothing happening there. So it means that you're more likely to get the trigger right. So I've got this little keyboard, as I say, the MIDI channel I can change to get my different instruments. So I've got Rhodes, and then Wurlitzer, then the Hammond, then my mono synth, and a few other things as well. Now I did have a vocoder connected to this, but it was just I ended up not using it, so I didn't bother. So inside this box is basically where all the power comes from. So I've got a big 9-volt power supply in there. I've also got a MIDI booster because I'm sending MIDI down this fat cable here, which actually it shouldn't work. I've sent basically MIDI information, USB, 9 volts, all sorts of stuff goes down there, and really it shouldn't work. And in fact the USB, when I first made it, it was about 1 meter longer and it didn't work, so I just cut it down until it did work, so I allowed myself the maximum room. So there is an overview of my one-man band. Now after this presentation you'll be able to see a block diagram that I drew, and a sort of a circuit diagram of this, just so you can see how it works. And of course there's no copyright here. This is about having fun. And actually this is a child of the economic climate. I designed it in 2008, and because places weren't booking bands anymore because there was no money. So I thought, I've got to do something about this. I've got to sustain myself. Therefore I'm going to do this. And it's a lot of fun. Seeing what is possible is the most fun part of it. Yeah, of course there's refinements that I could make to the drums, but it's all a learning curve. So there it is, there's my one-man band.